What's cracking, guys? Bruce Matson here, your host show of Metro Scout Fantasy Football. This is the time of the month where I look through Dynasty ADP from the previous month, and I try to give you 3 running backs to sell. But I messed it up. I messed it up because I picked my 3 running backs based off ADP, and I started looking at their values, and I was like, man, I could sell these guys. ADP, these guys' value, they're very sellable. But then I look at the market from the DLF Trade Finder and from everything else, and they're both. And there's a theme with all 3 of these running backs. And I feel like I got a lesson that I learned today from these running backs when it comes to analyzing the market from a micro standpoint for each and every dynasty league that could possibly work for you, me, or a bunch of your other leagues that I'm going to hit on after I talk about these running backs. So you want to stay tuned to the end. That way you get the whole theory of what I'm working with. But I got 3 running backs here that are kind of sells, kind of buys. I know the thumbnail's going to say sell, but really they're kind of buys as well. But we're going to dig into them right now. When I talk about these running backs, I'm going to go in order from the least valuable to the high-end value. I try to give you a little bit of everything. Obviously, for sells, I don't give you the cheap of the cheapest sells because obviously when you're dirt cheap or if you're borderline free, you're not really a sell. You're just a pickup, a cheap trade option. I don't really look at those guys as sells. If you want to sell penny stocks, go ahead and do this. But I'm just looking at the mid-tier guys to the top tier. I try and pick a top guy to give you something to look at just in case he's on your roster or you want to buy him or whatever to help people out on. So the first running back I'm going to talk about today is Josh Jacobs. He has an ADP of 67. He's RB25. I think I've talked about him a few times on this channel. He's a potential sell. From the outside looking in, his contract is theoretically up in 2022. They did not take his 5th-year option. The team drafted Zamir White in the 4th round. Next year's draft is going to be stacked at running back. It's going to be much cheaper for them to draft a running back than it is to re-sign Josh Jacobs. Might be the smarter option to do. Just draft one in the 2nd round. Keep it moving. Draft another 4th rounder. Whatever it is. But it's cheaper just to get another running back in the draft than it is to pay for a 25-year-old running back. He's 24 right now. 24 and some change. Will be 25 this time next year. But when we look at the market here, this is very intriguing. ADP 67, RB 25. Valued as an RB2 in the last leg of his first contract. There are some things that make him look like a sell, but really, he's also a buy. But let's dig on why it could be a sell for you. For packages, you could use him in some premium picks, maybe a 1st or 2 firsts, depending on what you're paying up for, and get you some studs. You could use him as one of those bridge pieces to really add you a top-tier asset to your fantasy team. I'm talking one of the top wide receivers, get a little younger at running back, one of those top-tier runners, get you one of those guys. You add some premium picks, some players to him. You got yourself a nice package, and maybe you can get yourself a Jamar Chase. Maybe you can get yourself something. I'm talking adding 2, 3 firsts, paying up, adding couple good players in the 1st, whatever it is, you got to be creative. But this is something I saw in the Trade Finder that some people are using him as a piece in a much larger trade to package up for one of those top running backs, one of those top wide receivers. You name it, somebody in the top 5, 6, 7, 8, one of those top guys, whoever it is. Using him as a package up option. Other trades I've seen him used in a 2023 first, which makes sense. Contract's coming up. He's not the youngest running back, but he's not an old running back either. You can still get into this new running back class. Those 2023 firsts are going to increase in value. A 2023 first plus Keenan Allen. So you're getting a draft pick plus a wide receiver with that. First and a second, Or if you want to think about it in like terms of rookies, maybe like a Jahan Dotson and Isaiah Spiller, if you want to think it that way. Josh Jacobs, RB25 right now in ADP, so he's not the most lucrative running back prospect. And you are getting some production this year. Potential back end RB1 production was used in the passing game some last year, could be used in the passing game more this year. I also think he's a buy. I came in looking at this sheet, looking at ADP, being like, okay, I could probably sell him, trade back a little bit, get some picks or whatever. I can also sell this guy, trade back a little bit. But this guy's also a buy, and I really just want to look at both sides of the story here. And people are able to buy him on the cheap. And in theory, you look at him, you look at his age. He's 24, soon to be 25 years old, be 25 next season. Last leg of his contract with the Raiders. A lot of ambiguity going into the long-term part of his career, or the latter part of his career, however you want to look at that, however you want to say it. But there's some reason why Dynasty managers will want to sell him at a discount, just to get rid of him, or think what they're receiving in return is worth it for Josh Jacobs. We're seeing him be traded for 2 second-round picks. So if you don't like what's on the board in the second round, you got two second-rounders, trade him and get you a Josh Jacobs, get some production for 2022. An older player plus a second, so whatever old asset you got there, plus a second rounder. A wide receiver you don't like, plus a second. I'm talking about those cheaper wide receivers, maybe like a Keenan Allen or something. A 2023 second, a third, and a fourth. Picks like that, third and fourth round picks that they rarely ever hit. Also, second round picks, those 2023 second rounder picks, I'm going to let you know now, those are going to go up in value between now and next offseason. That's a cheap commodity you want to invest in for your dynasty leagues, or these 2023 second round picks. First round picks are hard to get. 2023 seconds are next one you're going to want to try and invest into. Think of that as silver, and first rounders are gold or something like that if you want to base it off commodities. But all in all, Josh Jacobs is a sell and a buy. It really depends on what league you're in. If you're really being objective here and you got Josh Jacobs on your roster, or if Josh Jacobs is on another Dynasty League roster and you think that you can get him for cheap, maybe you want to kick the tires either way, see what happens. He's a sell and he's a buy. It really depends on where he's at. I can see him being productive for a little bit longer. I can see him being all right for it. I do know this league is going to start getting younger at running back sooner than later. I feel like he's at a fair price point in ADP where you can go one way or the other. But I feel like at that point, you may want to get some wide receivers or just hold on tight at running back anyways. It's really ambiguous right when you get to like the 70th overall portion of startup drafts. So you kind of want to keep your options open. Don't lock yourself in to a running back if you don't have to. The next running back I'm going to talk about, it's valued a little bit higher than Josh Jacobs. He's got an ADP of 65.17. He's RB24, just right there. The same value pretty much in drafts. I've seen this guy rise lately pretty much due to redraft value. You probably got another year or so, 3 max maybe. Lucky you get past that of production. And if you can sell out this guy, it might be the move, especially if you can get the capital. However, same story with him. When you look at dynasty trades, he's a sell and he's a buy. And it really just depends on your league and depends on how he's being valued. You got to know your league here. And I'm talking about Leonard Fournette, old Lenny. He's being valued at like 65 ADP, RB24, so he's RB25-ish, depending on where you're getting your ADP at anyways. He's 27 years old. Dirt old for a running back. He's on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, though. They're going to keep the chains moving this year with old Tom there under center. He's a good 1 to 2 year rental in Dynasty. If you get more than that, great. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't expect to have this asset for the long term. The trade finder showed us some different things. He's a sell if you can sell him for a first-round rookie pick, no matter what year it is. You get a first, it should be gone. Get rid of that asset. If someone gives you a first-round rookie pick, gone. Instant. I don't care if I'm competing. I don't care if I'm building. First round rookie pick 2023, gone. First round rookie pick 2022, gone. Him plus premium picks for a good player. You can use him as a package up piece just like Josh Jacobs. It's been happening for a lot of people. If it can happen for a lot of people, it might be able to happen for you. So you might be able to use him as a package up piece to get you that asset you want. Him in a second can get you Elijah Moore. Saw that happen a few times on the trade finder. So think of other wide receivers valued around Elijah Moore, maybe like a Rashad Bateman or something like that. You may be able to use him as your bridge, plus maybe a premium pick or something or a different asset to get the Rashad Bateman, to get the Elijah Moore. You got to be a little creative. But here's where he's also buy. And again, this is supposed to be a sell video, but I'm being objective. If I look at this, I'm going to cut it straight with you. He's also a buy. There's people trading Tyler Higbee for him. There's people trading Devin Singletary in a second for him. And again, you're sending these picks away and that asset away to get this production for this year, next year, especially for this year. So if you're a competing team, buying him on the cheap is the way to go. Derek Carr in 1 QB. So a mid-level quarterback, back in QB1-ish, high-end QB2-ish. A lot of people like Derek Carr, but in a 1 QB league, it really depends on the context of your team at quarterback, what quarterbacks you got, how many you got. There are some people with more than they need. There are some people that could probably use another one. Really depends on the context of your team here. But if you're good at quarterback and you can make this deal happen, try it. Maybe not. Most of these deals aren't going to happen for you, but it's good to kick the tires, see if it happens. David Njoku in a second. Again, lower level tight end or lower valued tight end in a second. Lower level asset in a second. You can get it done. Second round pick, see if you can get it done. He's not expensive in some leagues, and in some leagues where they value or they want that 2022 production, you might be able to sell him for a lot. So kick the tires in your league. See what happens with Leonard Fournette, because you can get both sides of the coin here. And don't forget to hang on to this video. Wait till the end, and I'll let you know my theory for why these players are both buys and sells. The third running back I'm going to be talking about today is another veteran running back. He is very expensive. He is not cheap. He has an ADP of 7.33. Just by saying that, you can probably already guess him. He's the RB3 right now in ADP. He's not always valued as that, but he is RB3 in ADP right now. Maybe up and down, maybe a spot or two, depending on who's doing the ADP or who you're drafting with. Another age plus market value type dichotomy here. And I'm talking about Christian McCaffrey from the Carolina Panthers. Very high-end running back here who can get you that spike production, especially when healthy. Health has been an issue lately, and we're getting to the golden years of his career. How much longer can he keep it up? Well, the market is making bets one way and the other right here. He's a sell for some people, especially in some leagues. You can trade for like a Cam Akers, so another running back, and Marquise Brown, so you can get you two decent assets there. A first and Aaron Jones, so you can get a running back with good production, plus a first, a 2023 first, so that can get you two good running backs off of him. 3 firsts and a second, so you really can rebuild your team off Christian McCaffrey. 2 firsts, Gabe Davis, which a lot of people love, a third-round rookie pick. Kyle Pitts and a first for Christian McCaffrey. So a lot of these are on the high end, and I know a lot of you are not going to buy on the high end or expect to be able to sell on the high end, but some people are. And there are other trades other than this on the trade finder where they're able to sell on the high end. I just picked a few, and it's possible in some leagues. And probably 1,000 or so people will probably watch this vid, and a few of you or a portion of you, maybe like 20%, 15%, 10%, 5%, might be able to get some deals done. But he's also a buy. He's also a buy because the market's like, no, we're not touching this older running back. He's been hurt. I don't want to deal with him, or I'll swap something similar in value and we'll move on. Traded straight up with Derrick Henry, who's not similar in ADP really. Entire 2023 draft. 2023 first round pick, second, third, fourth. Someone just says, here's my 2023 draft. Give me Christian McCaffrey. A 2023 first. That's it. Get you Christian McCaffrey. Devonta Smith plus a first. Still expensive. He's not cheap. You still got to pay up to get him a little bit, but this is very cheap to get a number 7 overall player in Dynasty. Usually takes a lot to do that. Usually looks more like the sell range than it does the buy here. Austin Eckler. So it's your pick on the older running backs. Damian Harris, Alan Lazard, and a fourth. Like, you got to have that fourth in there to get this trade done for that. For Christian McCaffrey. I don't even know how that even made it there. I probably shouldn't even pulled that trade. It's so ridiculous. I don't even advise really trying it. I don't think that could ever get done for you. But it happened in real life. So maybe you can get him that cheap. But really, it just illustrates that he is a buy, that these low ball or low trades are happening. And it also illustrates the other end of the spectrum where he's also a sell, where people are able to sell him for premium prices, multiple veteran players who can be productive, or younger players who's got some gusto to their player profile, to their value point in Dynasty. When it comes to Christian McCaffrey, he's both. He's a sell and he's a buy. You just want to check out your league. And a lot of these players that I say is buy and sell may not happen for you, because I'm really just trying to think outside the box, think of some ways to move these players and try to help you out with your Dynasty teams. But the one thing I came away with from looking at these 3 running backs is when you look at ambiguous running backs who are older or who's at the line of their career where they're getting ready to transition to a different contract, you do not know what's going to happen in the next few years or soon, or they've been injured or they're older. Even though they're valued high in ADP, when it comes to the market, you're going to get a lot of different things because running backs are valuable still. But for the long term, you don't know. Does this league or does these managers in your league, do they value now more than they do the long term, or do they value the long term very heavy? And you don't know. But the fact that these are older running backs, they're veterans, and they got something in their profile that gives us some uncertainty in the near future, gives us some uncertainty with whether we should be selling or buying them. We see this in the market. All 3 of these players are sells, and they're also buys according to what the market is telling us, according to what trades are telling us. And imagine if we had even more trades to look at, we'll probably get the same thing. A flippity-floppity of buys and sells. And honestly, I'm not surprised. Once you get a free market going and you look at car dealerships and you look at this one car dealership over here and they're just overpricing their stuff and they're wondering how they're even profitable, and you're looking over here and they're cutting good deals. They're giving you deals on their MSRP, and you really just got to shop around. It's like that in leagues. Really, you have millions and millions of Dynasty leagues. Players can be looked at in different ways. This could be by region too. So people around the Carolinas areas could like Christian McCaffrey a little bit more. Maybe Stanford area. Josh Jacobs, maybe Raiders fans. Leonard Fournette, of course, Brady aficionados, Tampa Bay Buck fans, guys who like Fournette, guys who like running backs, who get a lot of touches, may not care that much about the long term because they may not care that much about the long term of their running backs anyways, because they just probably expect a constant turnover. Maybe you're like, okay, I'll just pay a little bit more. It's hard to tell, but when it comes to these running backs and their futures being uncertain, you can bet that the value is going to be different from league to league. It's best to know your league. It's best to know how your league trades, and the best way to do that is to be active. The best way is to put in a lot of offers, kick tires a lot. That's why I do these videos. I'm not doing these videos to boast these players or to talk down on these players for sales. A lot of these players I'm telling you to sell, I'm also buying. A lot of these players I'm telling you to buy, I'm also selling. It's just whatever happens with the value. Now, I want you to be objective with that. I'm not a tout piece kind of guy. I'm a market kind of guy. I like to look at the market, and I'll gauge the market. I gauge versus my shares and the percentage of shares that I own of how many of this player and all that stuff. It's more than just buy this player, sell this player. Oh, he's going to be good in these next few years. I better buy him. Oh, if he's overvalued, better sell him. It's a mixed bag with everybody in every league. You definitely need to know your league, though. It's huge with getting deals done and being able to capitalize on value. If not, you're going to be spinning in circles, wondering how you can get deals done. But make sure you're kicking the tires. Watch these vids so you can get some ideas on values, or just get some ideas in general so you can get more deals done. But drop in the comments what you think. Who's your buys? Who are your sells? What are you seeing on your markets? Because it could be different for you. Some of these players are probably not obtainable. Some of these guys are probably being undersold. Or maybe you just need to try. Who knows? Let me know your story in the comments. Make sure you smash that like button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Every subscription matters. Fuels me to keep putting out this content, helping you with your Dynasty teams, finding the clips so you can get a good look at your players and camp, OTAs, mini camps, and everything else. But I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.